So earlier I sent Ron a text that said, "Your sexy ass and food."
So this is my first trip to Ron's house. It's nice.
Well, let me start.
The garage is well sorted.
Should I start with the
Right?
You have a fucking slate that I bought you, and you don't even use it.
Well, it's out there now.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that works.
Right. Welcome to Project Syncro podcast number 3, 4,
5.
5. Wow.
Just fly by.
Yeah, we've done 5 of these in the past
6 months.
6. Yeah, exactly. It's all right. We set the standard now. It's a somewhat almost monthly ordeal. Those of you watching the YouTube video may notice there's a change in scenery. We're in my lovely basement here, Maryland Heights, home of Project Syncro now. I'm sure Kendall's mighty excited to have a room back.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Since all three of us live like an equal triangle distance from each other now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just the St. Louis rule. Everything is 20 minutes away.
20 minutes.
So I actually think, well, Kyle, you're 20 minutes away from here, and
Kendall's almost exactly 20 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Kendall?
I like it.
Yeah. It's clean, thankfully.
Ron's stabbing pad.
Yeah.
The sectional goes nice with the painted over wood paneling in this wonderful split level home. Obviously not refinished since 1975. Slapped down some carpet.
And you got the textured ceilings, the popcorn texture.
Yeah, you know,
You can't buy an old home without it.
my insurance agent was trying to sell a bunch of riders, and he's like, "Live in a split level. You got carpet downstairs?" I'm like, yeah, I got carpet downstairs. It's like, gonna have to sell you. Gonna have to highly suggest that you get a basement flood waiver just in case you get any water in your basement. You know, that's gonna be mighty expensive to replace that carpet. Like, this is
Don't you have flood insurance?
here.
You don't need it here.
Yeah, I don't have it here. I have I have earthquake. I think everybody around here has earthquake, though, right? I think that's kind of the rule.
I don't.
Well, I mean, the rule is if your insurance doesn't cover it, just burn the fucker to the ground. That's
Yeah, then it does. How about
then
that?
you have insurance.
You're not in a floodplain. You don't need flood
No,
insurance.
no.
You might have like a water pipe burst flood insurance, but not
Yeah.
actual flood.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, this is the same level or a little bit higher than your garage.
Yeah,
So the water might get here, but it's going to drain into your garage eventually.
yeah,
And you just tear the dirty carpet out.
yeah. It don't matter. It's this was foreclosure carpet anyway. The bank came in and slapped a coat of paint over everything, and then slapped down some just awful carpet. And well, I mean, it's just cheap. You know, it's not terrible. It's just cheap. I'm sure they got a deal on it somewhere. Anyway, the garage is nice. That's all that matters, really. I think we've done We've done 3 episodes from here.
No, I've only done one.
One?
Or I mean, 3. Just regular Project Syncro
Project
episodes?
Synchros, yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah. Nice, well lit.
Just all from the garage.
Yeah. So, Kendall, I still need to come down and put the rear diff together. Pretty much. Did you get a chance to look at that? By the way,
I looked at it sitting there. I thought, I still need to look at that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much fine.
The plug?
Huh?
The plug that you want to put in it?
Oh yeah, I need to do that too. I keep forgetting about that.
I
Yeah,
told him.
I'll get Argon on Friday. I got the day off.
Oh, okay.
Because they're only open 9 to 5.
Did Kyle tell you what happened with that?
Yeah, it's like, well, he could have texted me. I could have told him, saved him a trip.
Well, I knew it was low, but I didn't know it was super.
You're the one who used it all. You leave it empty, it ain't going to magically fill itself.
Right.
Whatever. Don't matter. We had to go down there to cut something anyway, and I was going down there to do stuff, so, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, just got a whole mess of parts in for the engine, and I think we have, Kyle, you just released an episode, the walk-around episode, I believe.
Yeah. Just last week.
Yeah, so is there a teardown one, and then...
No. Well, that's Yeah, I still have that. That's being edited.
Okay.
But I have an episode coming out tomorrow, which is story time number 2.
Oh, okay.
Which is another part
Oh,
of
good
your
times.
interview segment from the tested stuff.
Oh, fun.
Which is you talking about how you don't like to let it be known that you're a car guy, and you try to keep it a secret, and then people find out. And some girls run away from that.
Well, yeah.
After they find out. But it was just a good little 2-minute.
That's just usually a good way to live your life, is to not get in somebody's face about you.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I don't know.
But
It's
that's
just
coming
a
out
lot easier.
tomorrow. That's been edited for a while.
Oh, cool.
Not that there was much editing to do. It's just
I think everyone will be excited to hear that I painted the engine and whatnot, and there is absolutely no video footage of that to be found anywhere, so there's no reason to even think that there's going to be another episode on painting, so that's good. So thanks to a lot of wire brushing and cleaning supplies and whatnot, the engine's really just about to bolt back together. I will say it's so nice to just be able to go out to the garage for a few minutes and brush some stuff or clean some stuff or take something apart and not worry about, all right, what am I going to build from scratch and you know, how am I going to remotely put something together? Now it's like, okay, it's an engine. I've done this, you know, dozens of times. So it's, I don't know. I don't have to think as much. It's much more relaxing. It's relaxing the whole time, but this is even more so. You just don't have to think. It's kind of like working on a motorcycle. Everything's right there, and as long as you're not a huge idiot.
Plus, you don't have to put pants on now. You can just roll out of bed and walk downstairs.
Yeah, I had to. Actually, I think I've done that. There have been sometimes on the weekend, like in the morning, I'll get up and be like, yeah, I want to start something, and then I'll work in the garage for about an hour in some shorts, and then I guess I better make some coffee or make some breakfast or something. And yeah, it's kind of nice not caring. Or yeah, I'll do the opposite. Is I'll go to bed and then not be able to sleep, and then go work for an hour, and then go to sleep. So that's nice too.
yeah. It's the reason we haven't had one of these podcasts in a while is because we all had things going on, and then I went on vacation, and I came back, and then
Kendall
a
went on
bunch of shit
vacation.
happened, and then you went on vacation, and it's just been so hard to get all of our
I think
schedules around.
I think
And we all have girlfriends, so that doesn't help the fact in any way.
What order did that go in? Because I did STPR with Matt, right? And
that was in between my vacation and his.
Yeah. So that was like 3 or 4 weeks there. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's also, I will say, I think we talked about this on the podcast we did with Mark and John and Matt, that whenever I go to a rally, it's really nice to just see what everybody else rolls up in and what they think is an acceptable race vehicle. Sometimes you'll say, like, whenever Matt and I started rallying in his legacy, that was not the, you know, it was fairly robust, but, you know, I'm sure he would be the first to say that it was kind of a turd. And, you know, obviously his skill really made it successful, but some people, it's like the back half of the field is like, shoestring isn't even the right word for it sometimes.
Like the guy at Ojibwe, I had to tow back.
Oh my God. Yeah. I still admire that, you know, like somebody who's like, you know what, fuck it. I'm driving my car to the event. I can't afford to tow it. I'm going to drive it to the event and just do it. You know, whatever happens. But
I admire that if you have your shit together somewhere.
man.
But when you show up
Somewhat
expecting
together.
everyone else to help, like that other team driving in the middle of the night before the rally to get him because his
Yeah.
car broke down, and then his car breaking down 3 times during the rally.
yeah, that's when
Like,
you just
that's-
make the
Yeah, you
logical
gotta do-
decision. You're like, I think I should just drive home. I've tried and failed.
Do a little better prepping.
Yeah, he drove this car, this Talon, like 1,000 miles.
God damn.
But
Yeah.
it broke down. He kept throwing serpentine
What's the entry
belts.
fee for just a given rally?
Oh, if it's a 2-day, go for about $1,000.
That's a lot of fucking money to drop and just
I'll-
have a not even have a fucking plan or anything kind of sorted out.
Yeah.
This guy didn't have a co-driver. He
a whole
contacted
nother
another rally
situation.
team.
I mean, to drive 1,000 or 2,000 miles round trip's going to cost you a couple $100 in gas.
Yeah. So-
And it's going to be, I mean, on any kind of shoestring race vehicle, I'm sure not comfortable or convenient or you know, that's,
Yeah.
oh, man.
Yeah, he kept throwing serpentine belts the whole time. Kept just shredding them. And the guy told me even on the phone, he's like, obviously something's not right.
Yeah, if
He's like,
something
"Oh,
fails 3 times
I
and it's
just
the
bought like
same
5
part,
of them. Yeah.
it's probably something weird. You know, the pulley's all
Yeah, they're all
cattywampus.
Bad
you know?
alignment, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I had to tell him back. And then he didn't show up. Back, remember that?
Is
You-
that did
you
I
helped-
put? Is that the car I put on the trailer?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, you didn't put it on the trailer. You took it off the trailer.
Oh, that's right,
We
I
were like,
did.
fuck this. He didn't show up.
Yeah.
Like, it was out. It was like
this
1
car
o'clock
was
in the morning.
clapped out, man.
We just wanted to go have a drink. We're like, screw it. And we took his car, pushed it off the trailer, and off into the parking lot.
I'll
And
tell
he
you-
went and got Conti's car and loaded it up.
I'll tell you what I want to do, regardless. So I think I've done everything at a rally now, except for, you know, be a chairman or you know, one of the chairperson positions, one of the leading positions, and I haven't driven. But I've done pretty much everything else. And I'll tell you, one thing is the same. Whenever the rally's over, it doesn't matter what position I work. I don't want to do anything.
Right.
I just want to drink a beer and usually just go to bed. And whenever stuff is over and you're like, oh man, we got to pack all this and we got to do all this stuff, it's like, no, you showed up with the car on the trailer and my this is a situation. So I J-turned the thing off the trailer, you know, just because we weren't sure if it was going to run or something.
It barely got on the trailer.
Yeah, so it started up and I just kept my foot in it and just ripped off the trailer, and then Matt's car just about jumped it onto the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get
And
out
he
of
just,
here.
went and had a drink
Yeah.
at that crazy bar.
Oh God, yeah, that was an experience. It's, you know, STPR was really good. Obviously, Matt did awesome. We weren't really sure about his motor at first, you know, being a little sketchy, but I don't know. It was still, I have fun regardless. But yeah, it takes all kinds, really.
Even Ojibwe that year, Conti, we went to Tech and
Yeah.
the reverse switch broke off the transmission, and he's like, oh, I thought that might have been broke when I put it on the trailer. So, and then the horn didn't work.
Well,
So we're in the
okay.
drive-
In
so we're
his
in the-
defense, that's better than, hey, my car throws belts every 5 minutes.
Yeah. But it still made it to where you and him were underneath the car until
Until we drove it to Tech.
midnight.
Well,
No, remember we
we've
went
had
to Tech
much
and we-
worse
Yeah.
rallies for sure.
Right.
You know, that you kind of just have to know that something will happen.
Yeah, plus it's Matt, so
And,
you just got to plan for it.
yeah. At least he does really well.
Yeah.
You know, if Matt totally sucked and had some sort of clapped out vehicle, then you could.
That was the first rally after Ron installed his
Handbrake.
his
Yeah.
handbrake. And the video of like the first 2 stages that I had, he like every time Ron calls out like a turn, he's like, oh. Like he's just
He's
wanted,
getting
he wanted to
shiny.
use
Slap
it
his
so
hands.
bad.
Wow, stop it.
Yeah. Just about did.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do? Whatever. Well, yeah, that's I don't know. We're all kind of wondering where I'm going to end up after an event or two, you know.
That's kind of like those Pikes Peak guys that went off that we watched, right?
Oh
They were
my
just on that
God.
handbrake every slight
The
little
whole-
turn. They're like,
The Evo?
Yeah,
the
that
one
went
that we had-
off.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
guy
that-
was like, "Well, I'm not going to set a good time, so I might as well just screw around the
Yeah.
whole time." Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. And then he gets sponsored by Recaro
yeah.
afterwards.
That is just, that's got debacle written all over it. Which, did you guys see any of the stuff from Pikes Peak this year?
Nothing.
I think I might have seen some pictures. It looked like nobody was there, like spectator-wise.
well,
and then
they-
they closed down like
They limited the spectator areas to like very, very few places this year.
Yeah, that's you know, you kind of have to do that
What
stuff.
was the
but
corner we set on Devil's Playground?
We were at Devil's Playground. That corner we were at was called 16 Mile.
Yeah, so I saw pictures from that. It didn't look like there was a handful of people
Yeah.
there. There was nobody on that inside corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody.
Yeah. because they wouldn't allow anyone on any outside of any corner whatsoever. The entire length of of
Even
the
like
climb.
where we sat, where we're good 75 feet above the road.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow
Jesus.
people. Like, there was only, I think, 5 different areas where spectators could
Yeah,
go. And
well-
once they went in, like, they could not leave whatsoever after everything was cleared, and they had to, like, be cleared down
Well,
course
that's okay. I
afterwards.
totally agree with that
Oh,
because
yeah, I agree with that, too.
The situation when we were leaving was, I know traffic gets bad, but that was like ridiculous. But that's kind of, I don't know anything about the spectators or any of that stuff. I just looked at times roughly, and
Oh, yeah.
it was nice to see like Paul Dallenbach, the big open wheel guy that still runs the badass old open wheel stuff. He finally got sub 10 minutes, so it was good to see.
Is he the one that throttle stuck last year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was
as soon as
such
he went
a
off the line. I
bad
think it was
wreck.
the first or second turn.
Oh
like,
yeah.
And then the throttle stuck
it was
wide
like
open.
immediately,
And just
and the way it landed, the GoPro was pointing straight up, and you could see just massive pine trees, and they're going like this. Like he hit hard enough to.
I saw that.
Anyway, nobody really seemed to do. Nobody really seemed to cover anything about it. I would have liked to see a story that because it seemed like, the magical number had always been 10 minutes. Even when Sebastian Loeb showed up and just blew everybody out of the water, he's a freaking robot anyway. And it was the same with WRC, where it's like, okay, Seb won. Who cares? What did everybody else do?
Right.
Because he's like so far ahead of everybody else. But no, there was quite a few people that broke 10 minutes, and that's really awesome. There was some. Oh yeah, a friend of mine who I think should probably remain nameless because he's really considered doing this. You guys know him, but he raised the question a while back. He said, "It's all paved. Why is no one running an old Formula One car?"
yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted the same thing once it was fully paved last year. Why wasn't, like, when...
It was fully paved when we went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that year?
There's one section
Oh, was that
towards the
3
top
years
that's a
ago?
little bumpy, but
Right. Yeah. Why wouldn't anybody? Because, I mean, I know a lot of people are running, like, old Formula One cars and
Hill climbs.
over in Europe.
you should see some of the crazy hill climb.
It's crazy.
There's
It's completely
there-
nuts.
there's
you
like
look
a
video,
whole-
Or
and it
hell,
just-
even an old NASCAR chassis that's just set up neutral,
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, the deal
Those
with
would be
Formula
cheap,
One is
yeah.
like you've already done all the research. You already have and take one of the forced induction car or don't and put a forced induction motor in anyway. So
Right.
it just seems like so the good news is there's still a lot of potential out there, but the weird news is that nobody even seems to remotely have gotten their stuff together on that. There's still people running tube cars that sort of, if you squint, look like an LMP car that aren't, and, sort of glorified tube touring. Why are you still, if you're really going to take, 80 or 100 grand or more and sink it into something that's based on a production car, why would you do that if you're running in the unlimited class?
Make something bespoke.
Yeah, the disclaimer here is clearly that I've co-driven Pikes Peak 1.5 times, so I'm clearly
You're the expert in the room.
no,
The half
if
is
that.
the key word.
Kendall sat in a lawn chair on Pikes Peak, so he might know more. I don't know.
Yeah, like aren't they running like Porsche GT3 like cup cars up it now as well?
yeah,
like
Jeff-
pretty much
Jeff
just straight
Zwart-
going over, like not even.
Jeff Zwart, who is awesome, by the way, and just a ridiculously awesome driver. He runs one. He's run the same one for the past couple of years. He was running that whenever Bill and I first ran, and he's a great guy, and he is a fantastic driver, and that was really cool to see at least one or two turns with that car in dirt.
Yeah.
But
Well, then there's that guy in England who turned one into a stage rally.
yes,
A dirt stage
man.
rally car.
Chris Harris's buddy.
Took a GT3 Cup car and turned it into a gravel stage rally. Yeah,
That was
this
magical.
thing is crazy.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, just pause this right now. Go search Chris Harris GT3 rally car.
Yeah.
watch it, and then
And even
and
the
then
owner
come
said,
back.
he's like, this will not win any races.
Oh,
but it
yeah.
will be the funnest time getting there.
Yeah, he said we absolutely did this for the fans.
Right.
It's like it
It's
sounds
never
ridiculous,
straight.
and it's just spraying gravel everywhere, and yeah, it's pretty magical. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about Pikes Peak, mostly because that's totally exhausted.
So say, this
I
is
didn't
the-
follow it at all. I didn't follow. I'm really terrible. I'm not following Formula One this year because it's gotten just boring. I'm sorry if you're a huge Formula One fan, but I just have not been excited about Formula One really at all. I am the worst race fan, really. Well, you saw, you guys came over. What was I doing? I was eating rice-a-roni watching King of the Hill reruns.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to care
This
about
is the-
some of that stuff.
This is the first year I've heard the least about Pikes Peak. Mm-hmm. Like, even on like a Facebook feed, you normally get, Jalopnik stories, at least multiple, Jalopnik stories or road and track stories, or, I didn't even see any build race party.
No,
stories
Bill wasn't there. None of those guys were there. Pikes Peak is notoriously very restrictive with their media rights.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a camera and you're on the mountain, they own the photo or the video, which is just
They can go fuck themselves with that.
which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which
Do
okay,
they
if you
want
want
to buy my camera and pay for me to
Yeah.
go there too? Then you own the rights to the image. But until then, fuck off.
yeah, like if you want any exposure at all, why would you ever make a rule like that? Just the same as why would you? This is exactly the same logic as somebody crashes and the co-driver gets hurt, so let's outlaw co-drivers, which is the stupidest thing I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Was that also with the
That was-
the Evo?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is so stupid. That I mean, I would almost go so far as to say if you're running a production-based chassis that at any point had 2 seats in it, and it's your first time at Pikes Peak, you should almost have to have a co-driver.
I think it'd be beneficial as long as they don't
Yeah.
turn too many pages. And
Yeah, that
Get
blows.
messed up and drive them right off into a cliff wall.
into the side of the mountain. Yeah,
just still have to give you shit about it.
that's fine. I
we
totally
wouldn't be friends if
deserve
I
it.
couldn't.
Yeah. Don't write your pace notes on a steno pad.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's probably a good idea.
But that's still one where, there's plenty of training things out there for Pikes Peak to learn the turns, whether it be games or
Oh my
simulators
God.
or
Talk
even just
about-
watching videos. But still, I think a co-driver would be.
Dirt Rally now, not only is Pikes Peak in Dirt Rally, the various paved years of Pikes Peak are in there, so you can pick whatever
Oh,
year.
yeah.
On
And-
the new game that just came out.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to build a computer just so I can play that.
Oh man, Matt has it, and it's
good.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was watching some guys at Dirtfish put it up. They got a beta of it released to them, and they were like, "Holy shit!" They're like,
Yes.
"We're putting this in our school. Like, people are gonna have to log hours on this before they go out on the course." Because
Matt
it's
claims
so-
it's like a simulator because you can't just start doing it and be like, hey, this is a game and I'm having fun. It's like for the first hour you're doing it, you're like, it's so painful. And
Yeah, but they said it's so true to
yeah.
like and Code Match is actually taking feedback from
Yeah, I saw
from,
pictures of like Peter
Global Rally Car
Solberg and-
guys. Yeah.
that was
So-
really cool.
I really want to. I probably should get a computer and do that.
The old, and I think this still holds true, and maybe in a couple of years we'll add a third option to this, but the original 2 options for getting into rally were spend the money and go to a rally school like Tim O'Neill's or Dirtfish, or my buddy Dave Carpetian. I'll plug Rally Ready Rally School.
Where's that at?
That's down in Texas. Dave Carpetian and Brianne Corin. If you
Oh, yeah,
if you
you
haven't
told
looked
me
up
about
Rally
that.
Ready, totally go look them up. So we have. I should. These guys are awesome and they're
So
wonderful.
now you
And they're
have
both-
one
Dave,
everywhere across the
Yeah,
country.
exactly. That's actually I will say this on the podcast because I almost want people to hold me to it. Is Dave and Brianne? They have like a like all those rally schools work. They have like they have property and they have sort of a track and they can change it around and whatnot. And I kind of mentioned, hey, when I get my car done, I would love to test there. Mostly because I want to go down there because they're Dave and Brianne. I think, Kendall, you've met Dave at Pikes Peak.
Where in Texas?
It is near Austin, I believe.
So the closest to here.
Didn't he roll through town and I met him at my place?
Yeah, that's right.
He had that Jeep with
the diesel Jeep.
Diesel Jeep. Yep.
Yeah, Dave is awesome. I will totally say if you're going to give anybody your money to go to a rally school, I think it's got to be a great experience. Actually, you know, I know people at every single one of the rally schools in the U.S., and they're all wonderful. They're all wonderful. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. So back to what I was saying is either spend your money and go to a rally school and beat the crap out of somebody else's car, or spend your money learning at your first event. You know, You can either do an event and suck, or go to a rally school and suck, and then do an event and suck less. So
I think rallycross, you could throw that in there too.
Yeah, rallycross is in there, and now eventually, you know, wouldn't you think that if you spend a ton of money on getting a ridiculous rally simulator rig running, that's could be almost enough experience.
Yeah.
I will say the other thing is
build it. I just don't want to. He's got like the G25.
He has a nice wheel.
Do the brake and the gas have like proportional?
No, but there are people. You know, the pedal box that I have in the car. There are people that buy those and put proportioning valves on those.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it just dumps into a reservoir basically, and you just, you know.
Yeah, there's several companies that make like extremely precise, you know, simulator.
Yeah.
But they can get expensive.
Really
quick. But there's a lot of forums where people have retrofitted actual car pedals or taken the G27 pedals and put, you know, kind of.
I've seen a guy take an E30 seat, pedals, tunnel section, dash.
Oh, they've done that with like Mark 4s and Mark 1s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stuff. And actually they put, you know, like little motors on everything and actually dial them in to where all the gauges work, and for like iRacing, and iRacing is probably the biggest one for that. But
while we're talking about stuff that will maybe benefit you on your first stage rally, holy crap! Since I've started riding motorcycles, that's riding a motorcycle is you just have to be on your game 100% of the time, and it's quite a rush, I will say. And after I had the Supermoto, even my old Supermoto for a year or so, and then I co-drove, I would almost go so far as to say that I was totally bored with co-driving. It just was not. I was not at all stressed in the car, and I was just reading something because, you know.
You've never seemed stressed in the car. Any of the videos I've ever seen, you've always seemed very collected. Even when you look at the driver in the videos, and sometimes they're like, you just see their face, just not like they're quite 100% confident with what they're doing.
Especially after, like, I feel bad again. I still feel bad anytime we talk about wrecking at Pikes Peak, because that was...
It's a mistake.
I screwed up, and it was an E30 M3, which is like a double whammy, honestly. But you know, after that wreck, I was like, okay, that's pretty bad. And that's about, you know, that's the worst one I've been in. And it was like, you know, safety stuff actually works, and it's kind of cool, you know.
So I'll focus on that with my car.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't get too stressed out about co-driving because I don't really like co-driving, and usually most of the people I ride with aren't super serious about... I mean, Matt is really serious now about results, but, you know, I've co-driven with him enough that I know what's going on, but... yeah, I don't know. I still enjoy it, but there's no reason to get all worked up, really. There are some people that I probably wouldn't co-drive for, having built a roll cage now and knowing what we know, you know, looking at some of these cages, I'm not sure if I'd get in this or that car. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that's, like he was saying, like when we were at Ojibwe and I was just waiting because they were kind of dickering around with a couple of things before he went through tech, and I was standing there with, what was that kid's name that was with us?
Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah.
But we're standing as they were doing tech on other cars, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I thought Matt's car had a few things that were questionable. No. His car was in pretty good shape compared to some of the cars that were going through tech. Like, it was rather sketchy on some of them. And they're like, well, yeah, that's fine. Like, just looked like, where 3 pipes would come in, it just looked like popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Was like, painted underneath it.
Yeah. Bad.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of cars like that, Matt's first Legacy, the Zach and Ron Jocks, who bought the car from, just absolutely totaled the car. I mean, it's done. They crashed so hard at STPR that they went off, they kind of understeered, and Zach was doing awesome. And so, these, unfortunately, it does happen. I'm not sure how it all went down, but he understeered off a road, and it was a pretty sharp embankment, and he went off the road and went down this embankment, and it punctured the co-driver, the passenger window. There was they basically landed a bunch of brush, but a tree punctured the window, went through, cut Ron, the co-driver, on the head.
Jesus.
And the tree, one of the branches punched the driver's side window out, and another one, and this was ridiculous to look at. It got wedged between the roof, the half lateral on the roof, and the roof skin, and just punched all the way through the roof.
Oh.
Yeah.
He punched Timo in the ass.
Yeah.
Came up right and punched Timo in the ass.
Where the rear quarter meets the rear skin, like where the taillight is, and they do all the spot welds it took the whole rear end and just peeled it like a can opener and opened it up, and the back of the car was basically the spare tire well.
Jesus.
It just peeled the whole thing off. It was ridiculous.
Didn't they wreck that car the first rally after they bought it?
They rolled that at Snowdrift. Wasn't a scratch on it.
Yeah.
They rolled it into a big snowdrift, literally, and got out, and they're like, wow, that wasn't bad, and turned the car back over and kept going, basically. I don't know if they had to have somebody flip them back over, but yeah, it was like, we looked at the car, like, okay, what do you have to repair? They didn't touch it. Didn't break any of the mirrors, or didn't break the windshield or anything. It was ridiculous. So I think they're gonna keep rallying. Thankfully, they're both okay, and they were a bit shaken up by it, obviously, but everything else, the shell was done when Matt and I had it, honestly, and it was done when they got it, and the cage in that car was always questionable, and I was always very concerned about, if Matt got in a really abrupt side impact or something, what would happen to it and how it would fail. And this was literally it wasn't a sharp impact at any one point, really, but it was a very hard hit. Mm-hmm. Nothing was tweaked. The cage didn't look compromised or even touched in any way, so
that was a plus.
Yeah, and it looked like that cage, I think a lot of it was 1.5 inch tubing, and the welds were all very questionable, and none of the tubes really met properly.
Yeah, they kind of met at weird places.
Yeah, it was odd. It wasn't so far as to call it bad. It was just very odd. So yeah, that says a lot.
It was like halfway between like a good rally cage and a drift cage.
Mm. I was gonna say it looked like a 90s road race cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
Go get some gas pipe and stab it in there.
Yeah, basically.
Right. Like the original NASCARs.
Yeah.
Making, roll cages out of muffler tubing and wood.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Oh, what else do we have going on? I'm sure. I don't want to blather on here for too long.
No, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
because it's summer and we're all busy and
LED testing and blinding
you
ourselves.
guys. I was helping my girlfriend out with their car, and you guys blew a couple of LEDs up or something. Or what did you do?
Didn't blow the LED up. We
blew the power supply.
Yeah, burned a power supply up.
Yeah,
Apparently, it was bad anyway.
Yeah, it was a voltage booster, DC to DC, and capacitor blew up. right after I turned the video off, pretty much. Which I guess you guys probably saw the video. But I called the company and they sent us 3 different
Freebies. Yeah.
freebies. So another LED 100-watt, and then
What's the name of the company? Is it an Amazon only store? Or
no, but they're based. All they do is import in cheap as fuck Chinese shit. I mean, so
It's not super bright LEDs, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. They're based out of New Jersey.
Okay.
So I called and it was a really nice girl, and she ended up just sending me a bunch of free stuff.
Nice.
Because the one thing blew up, even though it was probably our fault that it blew up. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's Chinese shit.
That'll be interesting.
But we'll figure it out. We want to look at some different things. You said you were going to do some math on figuring out a passive cooling.
Yeah, and I looked up round extrusions. There's actually pictures of people that have taken the 100-watt on a round extrusion with a reflector.
Right.
So there's pictures of that.
Okay.
Huh. Nice.
Some of those are right off the shelf, apparently.
Really?
For not that
That's
much
what I was
money.
looking at, because I was actually looking at, I found like 8x8, so it was solid, and then it had the fins coming off the back, and they were about 1.25 inches long. And I was thinking we could take that and then mill that into a circle, if nothing else.
The ones I saw were solid center, so big enough to
Sink it
screw
on,
down the heat sink to LED. And then they were anywhere from, well, the ones I looked at were 4 inches in diameter and just all fins all the way around. Nice extrusion.
Right.
So that's probably what we could use.
That'd be
And I
cool.
think they were $20 or something. They weren't that bad.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can't find is, can you find lumens output on, like, so weren't you going to run Rally 4000s?
4000s with HID retrofits. You can. I don't think you get a lumen number. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.
I got on
but
Hello's website and I can't find anything referencing.
Can you find
on their
the
standard H1 bulbs?
Can you find the output map? It's like a graph. I think that has a scale to it.
It doesn't.
Oh, really?
No.
Our buddies at Diode Dynamics have they have one of those test rigs,
Right.
so they can actually build those maps.
Okay.
And I think
Because I was just wondering, do you know what the lumen output on, like? Because I'm trying to figure out.
I have no idea. I know so very little about lights.
Is lumen for amp is what I'm trying to see if it's viable. Because I know the cost is there. If it's roughly close, you're going to be a hell of a lot less cost in doing LED. But that's if we can get the power side of it dialed in to where we know that that's not a failure point. But
We'll have to. We might take a little trip over to Diode Dynamics.
I've always wanted to go over there.
Because I've asked them about 2 separate things. If you do some creative Googling, you can see that before they really, when it was, kicking myself because I should remember the name of the guy who started the company. Back when he was just doing it sort of out of his garage or out of his house or whatever, he had a couple of how-tos on HID retrofits into Hella 1000 and Hella 4000 housings.
Right.
And so he has some knowledge on that, and I think we would have been able to do that again.
But now they have straight they have like straight H1 or H3 bulb.
Yes, exactly. But
for the HID,
and they've done all the light bar stuff that's on Matt's car. They've done a lot of that work on getting that sorted out, and they have the way. So they have the way to profile light output, and that's exactly how we would want to test. The other thing they have is a really nice laser engraver.
Those are fun.
And that's what I want to use for a lot of my switch panels. So, this is the other thing. How are we on time, by the way? I don't want to get crazy.
Oh, we're into 40 minutes.
Okay. The other thing I'm looking into, so you guys knew I wanted to do a panel with VDO gauges, simple VDO gauges. There are some companies that make digital dashes that are the same, if not less, than a set of standard VDO gauges.
And way cheaper than Autometer.
Oh my God, Autometer's ridiculous.
God, I looked up what all the gauges he wanted, and it was going to be like $1,500.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It's either I could do that or I could get a digital dash that if I wanted to down the road. Just
go to the pick-a-pull, pick out what gauges you want, $20, done.
Right. Get an old Chevy 1-ton
You need
gauge
to
cluster.
You need to put the gauge cluster out of that Audi.
Oh my
Oh
god!
yeah, I got that thing sitting
Yeah, it's
around.
about 3 foot wide.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's the best cluster ever.
You know, if that was
It's all digital.
if that was
It wasn't
flat,
all. I thought it had mostly analog gauges in it.
The gauges are analog, but the inputs are digital.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no cable speedo or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can just change the one side whatever the co-driver needs to see.
Dude, the thing's awesome. Yeah. It would look sweet in
It'd be
there.
ridiculous.
It's awesome. I love that thing. You still have it, right?
Oh yeah.
You've got more.
I
than
think
one
I've
of
got
those.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Do you? Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, these I think it's oh man, I can't remember the name of the company now, but there's a handful of companies that make digital dashes that
You were looking
aren't
at the one that,
ridiculously expensive.
That Brandenburg uses, right?
No, I was definitely not looking at that one.
Oh, I thought you said that you were.
Oh, it was so expensive. Because I originally had looked at that, and I'm like, no, because so you can either get a dash that is ancillary to a data logger or a standalone ECU.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at those, they're kind of expensive as is, but you have
Does
to use
RacePack
it.
do those, or are they all individual like?
I think
input?
RacePack does it both ways, and I'm pretty sure that's what I was looking at, because what you can do with RacePack is, and I don't want to say for certain, but whoever the one company that I was pretty sure I was going to go with if I didn't go VDO or find a deal on VDO was this company where you could buy the digital dash, but at some point you could buy a data logger and add it on. All the other manufacturers, you would have to buy both of them at once, and that you're like $2,000 in at the very least, and then you have to wire up all this custom stuff.
Yeah.
So the one I looked at had a nice piece of software to configure all the stuff, and it just had a standard, nice weather pack type waterproof connector, and you just as a header that you just pinned out all your sensors. So I might do something like that. Mostly, it would be really cool to have all analog gauges and do the period correct thing, but it would also be nice to just freaking bolt a dash on the thing and just be done with it, because I've got enough to worry about with the freaking breakers and all that stuff. I started at one end of the scale, which was totally custom, and now I'm kind of like chopping things off.
Well, I can get by with this.
Yeah, I'm still doing the
Just get
breakers because
by
I
with
have
that.
all of them, and there's a method for all of that. But I'm gonna keep the stock engine management for the first event at least, and just see how it runs. And then I have all the standalone stuff sitting around to do that. So
I think your best bet is to get the car
just get it running.
running at this point, and all of the custom shit that you have done, make sure that it works.
Yeah, I've already done
You
a
know,
lot of custom stuff to this point.
And then
so.
at that point, then you can start saying, well, this doesn't work, or this does,
or it does, or I could,
start making your own.
there's a development plan going
Yeah.
down the road so I don't get bored immediately or something. That's pretty much all I had. Yeah, in the next couple of weeks, the motor should be ready to mate up the transmission and drop in. Matt has my engine stand right now to pull the motor out of his car. So once he brings that back, I'll.
You mean the cherry picker?
Yeah, the cherry picker. Yeah. So that's there's really not a lot left to drop the motor in the car. My next big purchase is going to be brakes, which I have that all priced out, and ready to drop some cash on some brakes. So I'll have to the fronts. Somebody already sells a kit to adapt the fronts to the Corrado hubs, so that'll be cake, total cake. The rears,
The fronts to the Corrado hubs, they should just swap right over.
well, it's I'm doing the Willwood Dynalite
Yep.
calipers.
Yep.
with the 11.1 the 11.1 vented rotor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the rears are Rabbit non-vented fronts. The 9 or the 10? I
The
think?
9.1.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're all standard U.S. available part numbers, not crazy custom stuff. Just I
Cheap
can go
spares.
to it. Yeah,
I think the Rabbit vented are drop ins for non-vented.
the width though is also a difference.
It is slightly different, but they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
That should fit in that rear caliper because GLI Mark IV GLIs have used the same caliper, and they have a vented rear disc.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, that's a possibility too. But
Yeah.
Mark already helped me work out the brake math a long time ago, so I already have a list of stuff together. So yeah, it's.
Didn't you say even the non-vented Mark I brakes were pretty stout? Isn't that what you had in yours?
They fade because they're not vented, but in the rears they're probably okay.
They've got to be fine.
But for the size of the car, there was a lot of brake for that.
Yeah.
For that size of a car.
So I got drop the engine in. Got to build some axles. I'm going to take those two centers. Steve Menendez has a hookup on a drive shaft place. I think I'm going to take the center and the one that we welded and get them balanced. And then put axles in the car, and then brake stuff, and then after that it'll be wiring. So really not in bad shape. There's not a whole lot more wheel reinventing. The exhaust will be a situation because there's an axle in the way of the downpipe.
Just got to go back to his place for the exhaust.
Well,
If it comes down to it, we'll just turn it right out the hood.
yeah.
Like a fucking demolition derby car.
Or maybe run it down the top,
I
the
honestly,
roof line.
I think I can probably get away with at least getting it cut and tacked.
Yeah, you have to get your drivetrain in first, and we'll just
Yeah.
work around that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be impossible to figure it out.
I don't have a problem buying a bunch of J-bends and what have you and just piecing it together. I'm not going to do some crazy pie cut, whatever the hell.
No, yeah, it's
That's
ridiculous.
stupid shit. People.
I'd beat you if you did that.
That's so stupid. I don't know why anyone does that.
To look cool.
Barely.
Yeah, I guess.
It looks like somebody didn't get the right size pipe and had to. Whatever. That's for a later time. Anyway, you guys have anything else? I'm pretty
Nope.
good.
Not that I know of.
We'll
I
have
mean,
another beer.
Yeah.
We'll be. I've got an episode coming out tomorrow, which is this Ron story time with Ron 2.
Boy.
And
Sweaty
then,
jorts again.
Yes, and then actually I have another one coming out. Hopefully by the end of the week, that'll just be a time lapse of you gold taping your.
Oh,
Firewall.
how did that look?
It looked pretty good.
that's good.
Other than the
I was probably bent over a lot. Which
fluorescent lights on that side have such a horrible flicker.
those old, that
they show up in the still images on a GoPro.
Yeah,
It's
I need to
bad.
replace those ballasts. I
Yeah.
replaced one of them, but I need to replace all of them with some nice ballasts.
because it wasn't even video. I mean, they were set up on what, I think one every 5 seconds or one every 2 seconds.
Yep.
And yeah, they showed the flicker shows up in the images.
Yeah,
It's bad.
You can see it when they warm up too, for sure.
But other than that, then we've got a couple episodes coming from kind of the engine teardown.
Yeah.
And with that, trying to keep them short.
Yeah.
We don't want to get them boring.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the transmission video. Like I said, it was, how many hours were we there? Probably 6 hours.
Yeah.
And the cameras were running a good part of that time. And I started editing it through it, and I was like, okay, this is taking forever. And I'm like, if I'm getting fucking bored doing this,
Yeah. Exactly.
no one's gonna watch this fucking video. So I just literally put a music track in and just started, clipping, of the transmission getting put together. I was like,
That's the way to do it.
and if
honestly.
anybody wants, detailed,
Yeah, there's lots more.
things, we can always do another video, kind of explaining something if that's ever a need or a want, and but I think it got the point across what was happening.
I had another.
What went in. Of course, the only thing I didn't get was the big bang when the trying to rotate the transmission and it bent the
busting the
reverse engage lever and
whatever.
But actually, that was the
I'll
last
fix it now.
podcast we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how long ago that was.
Yeah. We got one more request for a video on how I organized the garage from my buddy Billy Mann, and I've had a few other people mention stuff like that. So I actually, you'll laugh, but I need to do a little bit more in there. I've got a couple other things I want to do before we do garage organization.
And the other thing we really have to do is at some point in the next month is spend one day doing just the tip videos.
Yeah, I think the garage video will be just a tip.
Because
video, honestly,
all the money I've made has come from just the tip videos.
The tube vendor video.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
got
like
like
a-
1,500 views or
Oh yeah,
something.
I made like $1 on it, and I'm not
Nice.
joking.
Yeah.
I think it's been like $1
Don't
on one
spend
video.
it all in one
Oh.
place.
Yeah, exactly.
Since I can't take anything out until I hit $100 in the account, so that'll never happen.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking out there we're making money from this, no,
Oh, there's no way.
no. But I will say I'll kind of put this out there, and we're gonna get our kind of eggs together. We really haven't talked about this, but we have, with the car coming together and rallies being a thing in the somewhat near future. This show does cost. It does cost me. And so I think we're going to do some things either with some T-shirts or something that will help pay for, if nothing else, just getting to the rally and being able to help on that side. It's, once again, it's not an income thing. It's just, it costs money.
Yeah.
So,
Well, don't confuse this for
no Kickstarter bullshit.
Yeah.
No, none of that. Like, I want money for fucking nothing because I have
yeah.
a dream to do this, and I don't really feel like working to achieve that dream. And this is just
I really do think
if you guys feel that you want these videos, if you want videos of the rally, then contribute in some way, and it's not going to be a thing for free. Like, you buy a T-shirt that's $20, and we put that money aside for a rally. Or if you want to contribute
That's up to
directly
you.
to us, that's fine too. We'll talk about that. And
I'm
figure
doing
that
a
shit
rally
out.
anyway.
Yeah,
And-
and so it's the thing. If you want to see the videos, not saying I won't go anyways, but it just might be under certain, other circumstances. But never will we say we're not doing this unless we get money.
No,
Fuck
that's
you,
really
pay me.
stupid.
That's never going to happen.
I think we should just start
No
selling.
good fellas.
We should start selling, and how's this for dramatic irony? We should start selling "Go Fund Yourself" stickers.
We should.
Go fund yourself.
Yes.
I like
I've been
that.
saying that from as soon as you start to see rally teams on GoFundMe. Help me live my dream. You know what?
Yeah. No.
How about you budget accordingly to do what you really want to do? Because that's what I've done.
Right.
So, or I've at least tried. So-
And yeah, it'll never be one of those things. No, I can't stand that shit. It gets on my nerves so bad when people just ask for, if you donate $30, I'll give you a fucking sticker. Great. Great. And you can go pile a car into a tree. No.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. Again, if you've got anything you want us to do or want to see more than me walking around in jorts painting stuff, let me know. We've got some ideas for stuff, as we've said, but it's nice when people are chiming in and saying, this is cool, this isn't, we want to see this, how'd you do that? That's awesome. So also be sure, if you do really like watching the videos, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. There are quite a few people on the Facebook page, and Facebook isn't so polite about sharing YouTube posts as much as it is other posts.
Well, the reason did you see why?
Yeah.
They just released this week. They're going to be monetizing videos.
Yes.
And which, if this happens, it's not even a monetization thing. It's an analytic thing, because I do look at them to see what people are looking at, so we can try to base what we put out kind of on that. I mean, it is an ongoing, basically, journal of what is going on, and that's not going to change. But some of the other videos we put out will be, kind of, and once again, it's not a money thing. It's just an analytic thing to where we can figure it out. And that's the best way to do that with YouTube, is to actually monetize it. But like I said, since we started this over a year ago, there's not even $8, I think, that's been made on the video views. So,
Well, I don't know about you, but we're not doing
I
it
make
for that.
I make the ads skippable and all that shit because I don't care. It's just, it's easier to follow. It's easier to look at stuff that way. And subscribing, it helps us be able to get some of those features if you do that, and liking it on Facebook and things, because if every time someone likes it, so many hundreds of more people that are subscribed to the page see it. Otherwise, only a certain set amount, and I'm not paying to boost a post.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
People do that for their business, but
No,
not worth it
I'm
for
not going
this.
to do it. So every time, if I get 5 people that like it, that's like another several thousand people that get to see it. So,
It's ridiculous.
right.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to keep building the damn car. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on Project Synchro next time.